Hey everyone, and welcome to Comparison Corner. I wanted to do a segment where I sort of compare products related to gaming and things like that, and similar products and sort of compare them. So today, what I'd like to compare is I'd like to compare the Xbox One controller. So here we have here we're going to have Midnight Forces 2. Xbox One controller, and I'm going to be comparing that with the with one of the Series S / Series X controllers. Here we have the Electric Volt that we're going to be comparing that to. So just talking about a couple of things right off the bat. Taking the Xbox One controller out, I am going to compare them, but just right off the bat. Looking at this controller, we have the sort of normal layout here. The normal sort of D-pad here, the directional pad, as well as looking at the top, we have a micro USB. So that's something I'd like to point out right off the bat. It's going to be a difference between the two. So if we pull out the other one here, right off the bat, just looking at these two controllers, so they both look awesome. First of all, Microsoft does a good job of making their controllers look fantastic. But the biggest difference here is looking at this D-pad here. This is looking more like the Elite controllers did, as opposed to having definitive buttons here. We have this sort of diagonal push here, which is pretty cool. As well as the connection on the top is something I'd like to draw your attention to. So for these newer controllers, we do have the Type-C connection instead of the micro USB. So that's going to be one of the main differences too, as well as if you'll notice in the center, we have that screenshot button, which is going to be very similar to the PS4 controllers, having that giant button in the center for the screenshot. We have that as well on these new Series X and S controllers. We have that center button for the screenshot as well. A couple of other things I'd like to discuss also is the on this controller in particular, we have a very awesome grip here on the back. This one has a little bit of a grip too on the back, and it's really hard to see here, but this one, the grip on this one, I've never felt a grip quite like this particular one before. It has a really nice grip, feels really great in my hand. They're both relatively about the same size. Okay, so not much difference there in the size. One thing that I have noticed, though, as far as button pushing and stuff like that, is that the newer design seems to be more gradually responsive. So, like with the triggers, it's not sort of an on and off, like more of like it was with the Xbox One controllers, but with the new design, there seems to be more of a gradual push, which is of course going to be really good for driving games and things like that, where you want to sort of push just a little bit on the throttle. So another thing I'd like to say about this controller is versus the Xbox One controller, is that the old Xbox One controller, I sort of had some issues as far as Windows connecting. So my motherboard, I have Bluetooth built into my motherboard, so I have the Bluetooth connectivity. And with my Xbox One controllers, not even just with this one, but with them in general, I had sort of an issue where I'd have to go in and manually find and pair the controller with the Bluetooth, versus this one, when I went and put it in pairing mode, it sort of just popped up and instantly knew that I wanted to pair it with this device. So it seems to be better integrated with Windows 10 than the Xbox One controllers were. So that's something that I will say is a plus, because I did have some connectivity issues with certain games. The Xbox One controllers would sort of just disconnect with certain games, especially with online gaming and things like that. For some reason, you know, using the Bluetooth with the Wi-Fi, it would for some reason with online games start disconnecting the controller. But with the new design, it doesn't seem to really be doing that. And it was only certain games, specifically Soul Calibur 6 would do it a lot. But yeah, anyway, just comparing the two controllers, I will say that I do like how responsive the newer controllers are. So as a direct comparison, I personally do like the newer controllers a little bit better because the joysticks seem to be a bit more responsive, more of a gradual response like I was talking about with the triggers, as opposed to the original ones. But the biggest difference, like I said earlier, being that the new design is going to have that Type-C USB port, as opposed to the micro USB on the Xbox One controllers. So once again, we just compared the Xbox Series X and S controllers. That's that one there. That's the electric volt. We compared that one with the older design of the Xbox One controller. Of course, both being compatible with Windows as well. But when directly compared, I do think that the newer design, they did improve upon the newer controllers quite a bit. So yeah, that's all I wanted to get on here and compare. And once again, I'd like to do more of these and just compare the products as I get them, and I just think it would be really cool. So yeah, go ahead and feel free to comment anything that you'd like me to compare or something like that. I'd love to do that. So yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate it.